almost as if the horse and the rider were able to dig deep and tap into tenacity, find the grit and the spirit that they needed to win the race. And that's what you have to do here. That's something that this full moon is going to eliminate. And that's why I say it's character building, because welcome back everyone to the channel Ascend Above. My name is Austin, and in today's video we're going to be talking about the astrology for the day for January 25th. Now today is the full moon in Leo, and if there was a couple words I would have for this full moon, it would definitely be character building. And so we're just going to go ahead and look at the chart here and jump straight in. I just want to say thank you all for being here. Thank you all for the support as well on the last video. It's good to be back. It's good to be talking astrology again. It's something that definitely lights me up inside. So without further ado, let's go ahead and switch to the charts here. And here's why I'm calling this full moon a character building full moon. Let me pull up my pen. Let's see here. All right, here we go. This is why I'm calling this full moon a character building full moon. Now, obviously you can see here with this moon in Leo at 5 degrees, it's opposing the sun in Aquarius at 5 degrees. And already the full moon in Leo is about letting go of your pride, embracing more humility, and being more about the collective and not so much about the self. Because if you think about the sun, if you think about a new moon and the full moon, like the full moon is with the sun consciously shining and illuminating what was unconscious before. And the stuff that we were unconscious about before was the Leo stuff, with it being on full blast now, right? And so what this is shedding light on is our character. Leo has a lot to deal with character. And so this could be a dramatic full moon for some people, right? Leo always brings the drama. So this could be a dramatic full moon for some, but I wouldn't say that's the case for a lot of people. I just feel this is one to where we're having to embrace more humility and embrace our limitations and be okay with our limitations, right? It's not just accepting that, oh, I'll never be able to get better and this is like my shortcoming. It's about understanding like, yeah, this is my shortcoming, but I can dig deep. Look at all this Capricorn energy, Mars, Mercury, and Venus. Capricorn is a sign that knows how to dig deep and be tenacious when it comes to achieving its ambitions. And the one reason why I feel like this is definitely a character building full moon is because if we take a look at this, Mercury and Mars are pretty much conjunct here at 14 and 15 degrees. And it's making a square to Chiron and Aries. Right, and I touched a little bit about this in the last video, yesterday's daily, about Chiron being in Aries, and Chiron's all about the wounded healer, where our wounds are, where our deepest wounds are. So on a collective level, we're dealing with the deepest wound in regards to the Aries stuff. And Aries is all about self-determination, boldness, definition of self. You can even throw courage in there as well, strength and bravery. But Chiron being there, it's like wherever Chiron is in your chart is where you're trying to access that more at this time, and where you're feeling a little bit afflicted. And so Mars and Mercury squaring Chiron here. Well, Mars is a planet of initiation and action, right? Mars doesn't think twice before it takes action. It just takes action. And when it comes to the square aspect, and especially Mercury, like Mercury has a lot to deal with our intellect, our reasoning. You can even say communication, right? And this could manifest in the form of external communication, like you feeling like you're not able maybe to possibly get your point across in a way without you feeling weak in regards to being vulnerable. But also the other part of Mercury is like how your emotions and your thoughts flow toward yourself. And so this could bring up a lot of insecurity with this Mercury square Chiron. And then Mars as well. It's like you have the desire to take action when it comes to the Capricorn stuff, right? When it comes to work, structure, when it comes to ambition, achievement. And so this square here, and I'm sorry if you can hear my dog kind of munching on his bone, or he has his toy, it's like a toy bone. I apologize, but he's having a good time, so I'm gonna let him have a good time. But this can bring up insecurity, right? Bring up doubt about your abilities and and cause hesitation when it comes to taking action upon your desires and the things that you want to go after. And, you know, there's a really good story I was reading in a book called Mindset, and it was about, well, there's a couple of them. One of them was about Seabiscuit. And it's interesting too, because if we're talking about the story of Seabiscuit, well, Seabiscuit was a horse. And I would say Aries rules horses, because horses as a symbolism and symbolically represent freedom and action. And that's very Aries. And even if you think about horsepower, right, that's Aries. But the story of Seabiscuit was that, I believe, now some people can correct me on this, but overall what it was about something about the horse. I can't remember if it was the horse or the trainer, but one of them, I believe it was the horse. Like the horse was kind of like on its last leg and they were kind of giving up hope. But it was almost as if the horse and the rider were able to dig deep and tap into tenacity, tap into their tenacious energy, and find the grit and the spirit that they needed to win the race. And that's what you have to do here. That's something that this full moon is going to eliminate. And that's why I said it's character building, because we can have flaws in our character, right? And I'm going to get to the Aquarius aspect and why this is important in regards to the sun being an Aquarius and this Aquarius season. But we can have flaws in our character. And what it really takes when we have flaws in our character is to embrace humility and accept the limitations, come to terms with it, address it, and figure out a way how you can still, through effort and grit and spirit, achieve what it is that you are wanting, right? Whatever it is that your ambitions are. And so this Mars square Chiron and Mercury here is saying, don't let your insecurities and your doubts cause hesitation or make you feel like you're inadequate, right? If you can solve the tension that this square is making by just understanding that there's room for improvement, then that's a win right there. And although it may take a little bit more effort, that's what's required. And Capricorn is a sign that what is required has to be done. That's the only way you get inclined to the top of the mountain. Now, we're at a Capricorn season. The sun's not in Capricorn anymore. However, we do have a stellium of energy with Mars, Mercury, and Venus here in Capricorn. So there still is a lot of Capricornian influence. And when we're talking about Aquarius, we're talking about the collective, being of service to the collective without, and also something about Aquarius too is like the sacrifice of oneself for the greater good. Whether it's your community, whether it's for the collective, the group, or something that is beyond yourself. And so Leo, I'm a Leo, so I can talk about this. I understand the Leo energy. Leo energy with this full moon, it's going to highlight like where you're wanting things, right? And sometimes Leo has this thing about like praise and wanting to be validated and wanting to be the glorious one, right? I'm not dissing Leos, I'm a Leo, okay? But that's where you kind of have to let go of that prideful energy and embrace, again, the humility. And be more concerned about the bigger picture. Be more concerned about the bigger thing. Also, I want to point out here that this full moon in Leo is also making a square to Jupiter over here. And so, and you can, and also if the moon is squaring Jupiter on a full moon, it's also the sun squared Jupiter on a full moon. But on a side note, Jupiter square the moon can bring a very excessive energy. You have to think about Jupiter, it's the expander, it's the amplifier, right? But a square to the moon in Leo, it's like we're personally craving more. There's nothing wrong with wanting more. Where the problem comes in, it's like where you allow your pride or your ego to take things too far. or to take things maybe too personal, especially with Chiron, the square to Chiron in Aries. And for all the Karens and the Darrens about to say something about my dog Neo, you can just click off the video. So one thing I would say here is, like, being in this Aquarius season, it is about focusing on being of service. You know, how can you bring your own uniqueness, right? Because Aquarius is a sign that is unique. It's eclectic. And anybody who's eclectic, well, eclecticism is unique because it's all ideas that are encompassed into a form of individuality. So, and I'm gonna go on the contrary here, and I'm also gonna bring up where this full moon is here in regards to the gates in human design at 5 degrees. We'll get into that in a second, but Aquarius is about being of service to the collective, bringing your gifts, bringing your individuality to the collective or to the world. And it's kind of like a puzzle. Everybody's unique. Everybody's a puzzle piece to the whole picture, right? So it's about bringing your own uniqueness, your own gifts, your own skills, your own abilities to the collective and being of service without letting your ego's desires get too much in the way. Because we're all craving at this time to connect, but the difficulty, I would say, on a level here with the Sun square Jupiter and Taurus and Aquarius is a square. And so I would say here that we're all really trying to bring all of our values together on a social level and to participate together in a cooperative way. However, we're all coming to grips and realization that we're going to have to embrace everybody's values without judgment. So, but I also noticed when I was looking at this, that just going through the planets, that Saturn here at 5 degrees is, you know, it's a degree away from its exact sextile to Jupiter. And whenever you have Saturn sextile Jupiter, it's like your disciplined efforts when it comes to your own spirituality, when it comes to embracing your own creativity, when it comes to even the material pursuits of things. There's the potential by you doing the disciplined work to make your life more magical, Saturn and Pisces, to find your sense of deeper inner self and where you fit in this whole collective cosmic scheme of things. There is the potential for it to bring long-term stability and growth. And so Jupiter is also a planet of good deeds and good luck and good fortune. And it's through the work and through the discipline that you're able to lead yourself to positive outcomes and more fruitful growth. And so that's one thing to think about here with this energy. And of course, you want to look at your own chart. You want to see where these planets are. You want to see how this is influencing you on a personal level as well. But I'm just talking collectively and generally. And so now I kind of want to get into, and also I want to say too, that with the sun being Aquarius, because Aquarius is eclectic, this, and especially with Pluto coming into Aquarius, this is a time, because Pluto's activated with the sun now in Aquarius, right? We had the conjunction already with the sun and Pluto, right? Conjuncted in Capricorn and both moved in, sun and Pluto moved both into Aquarius and was also conjunct. But Pluto being in Aquarius is wanting you to embrace eclecticism, to embrace innovation, to embrace newer ideas, right? Because who knows, you may meet someone or come across something that your ego at first was like, yeah, that's not me. But that tool that is being offered, or that idea, or that knowledge, or that wisdom, or that innovation, or again, that idea, could be something that helps reinvent yourself or innovate your life and bring profound, deep transformational change at the same time with Pluto. And Pluto is that planet that brings new forms, right? Old forms never disappear, right? Old forms never just disintegrate. Pluto is a planet that will break down the old forms, old structures, old values, old ideals. Will break it all down. But with the old forms, it will form a new form. And it's about how well you form that new form. It's about how well you form the new form. Will it impact you and help you evolve? Like, it could be really deep, or it can be a new form, but it's just a little bit of change. And so that's why I feel like with Pluto, it's like it really is embracing, like if you think about the death card in tarot, it's like embracing change. Because the more you go against it, the more you're going to struggle and find yourself in resistance. So let's go ahead and I want to pull up here. Let's see if I can. I'm going to pull up the. Let me switch this over real quick. Whoops. Let me switch this over for y'all. We're going to bring up the human design gate, and we're going to just shed some light on this really quick. Here we go. Let me let me pull this up, because I know I pulled up the website here to talk about it. Yeah, here we go. Bring this over here. All right. All right, here we go. Now, this website here, let's see here. Yeah, here we go. So I want to expand this a little bit, just so you guys can see. All right. Okay, so the full moon in Leo at 5 degrees is going to be illuminating and be fully illuminated in gate 31 of human design, and in regards to human design. And so let's scroll up here. Human design, gate 31, gene key 31, is the natural leader. And we can just kind of look at the archetype name. It's the natural leader in action. And I'm going to break this down and let you understand. But first, let's just get a general overview of this. It says, in action, to reverently lead others into a fair and just vision. Right. The key words for it would be leadership, collective vision, influence, and equanimity. And so the human design definition would be the law of friction, whether active or passive, that engenders transference and thus influence. So the core theme here is influential leadership. And this is going to be activating the throat center and the G center in human design. So, but what I really wanted to get into was just showing you, because full moons are all about releases, right? First, the full moon will shed conscious, full light awareness on what was unconscious before. Because if you think about a new moon, it's a new seed that's planted, and you don't really see what that looks like fully until the full moon, right? And so the meantime, while the full moon is building up, right, while the moon is gaining light and then comes into the opposition of the sun, the full moon, what's going on in between them is a lot of unconscious activity. Once you get to that first quarter square, where the moon is half lit, you start to become half aware, half conscious, pretty much more conscious about what you were unaware of before. And then once it hits the full moon, you're aware, oh, okay, this makes sense. I see what's happening here. But the full moon's also about releases. So it's a release, but it's also integration too. So it's releasing what needs to be released, but also like integrating as well what you have become consciously aware of. So let's see here. Let's go down here. Let's scroll down, my friends. I think I passed it actually. Okay, it's up here. Here we go. I don't know why this freaking thing is in the way right here, but it's messing up my vibe. Is there a way I can move this? Nope. Let me just scroll up a little bit. Okay, so I'm gonna pull out the pencil again just so you guys can see. So when we talk about releases on the full moon, what we're releasing is like the negative stuff, right? The things that we're unaware of that no longer serve us moving forward in regards to the new structures that we're building and integrating into ourselves. And so if you read right here, it says on the negative end of the spectrum, it says on the negative end of the spectrum, Human Design Gate 31 is the energy for being afraid to step into the role of leader or believing that you are unworthy of being a leader. It can easily use its influence and authority to manipulate others for its own personal gain or try to force its vision on others. Now, forcing a vision on others will definitely be a Capricorn thing, a Leo Capricorn thing, right? I'm not dissing Capricorns, I'm not dissing Leos, but I'm talking about on the shadow side of these archetypes. If it's operating in the shadow, that's how it can manifest. And so you're a human, people are human. You can come to realization like, oh shit, was I doing that? Or was I unconscious of that? Right, and that's what I was getting to in the beginning of this video about like character building, right? Because that's not a good character trait, but you can change it, right? And by changing your character structures, you actually are able to change your fate and start to take control of your destiny of where it is that you're really trying to go and the things that you're trying to do. And so that can manifest for some people, right? Like you can probably see that in the world a little bit too. And so trying to force a vision on others, right, for your own personal gain. Well, you have to think about it. This new moon was in Capricorn, but now the full moon has come into Leo. So the intentions that you set, or the energy of the intentions and the new cycle that started was in Capricorn. Now the sun's in Aquarius, of course, because it ingressed into Aquarius. But the first initial seed was planted in Capricorn, and so it could show itself in regards to that. Right, and so now with the sun being in Aquarius, you're shifting consciousness. The sun is about consciousness. The shift in consciousness as a collective has now shifted into the Aquarius stuff rather than the Capricorn, which is about sacrificing one's own identity, one's own self to be of service for the greater good. Right, so it's not about your particular vision. It's about the vision of the whole. Also, too, I want to get to this part. It says in the very beginning here, it says, Human Design Gate 31 is the energy for being afraid to step into the role of the leader or believing that you are unworthy of being a leader. Right? Leo is a natural leader, right? Like Leo rules leadership, confidence, and authority. Right? Which is why Leos are natural leaders and good leaders. But Aquariuses are good leaders too. And so this could be illumination for you of where maybe you were hesitant. And even like I was saying with the Mars and the Mercury square to Chiron, like you could be hesitant to step into playing a role and acting as your own individual leader, to be a part, like to also play a role and lead in the collective shift of things. And on a personal level, this is about stepping fully into your individuality, embracing your uniqueness, and embracing eclecticism to improve your character structure, to innovate yourself, right? To bring innovation to your life. So the unworthy of being a leader, or just the Mars Mercury square to Chiron, that can make you feel unworthy or feel like, oh, I'm just not meant for this, I can't do it. But that's just like an excuse. That's a fixed mindset. You want to be more so in the growth mindset of things, about saying like, okay, yeah, I feel the limitation. I see it. It sucks, but I know, but I can dig deep. I can have grit. I can tap into my spirit and I can apply more effort, and I can still achieve and accomplish the things that I want, but I'm just going to have to embrace humility and understand that. Or something to think about, to understand, is that we're all dealing with this energy in some form or fashion, and so you're not alone. And that as a human, because I feel like Chiron is a symbolism of just being human, that we're flawed. And so it's okay to accept your flaws. That doesn't mean you're not worthy or that you're not able. It's just about understanding the Capricorn part. We can still achieve what we want. We're just gonna have to be tenacious, apply more effort, and the achievement will be just as great or even sweeter. So, and the sun will be in gate 41, which is all about, you know, your hopes and your dreams, right? So with the sun being in Aquarius in the gate, and it's about to shift out and go to 19, I believe in a week or something like that, 6-7 days after this full moon. But it's consciously illuminating right now in your life, like your dreams and your aspirations. And are you going to make those a reality, or more of a reality? Or are you just going to kind of live in the daydream and the fantasy of those things? Right, because I have gate 31 and 41. Right, I have a 2-degree Leo sun, and I have a 2-degree Uranus and Aquarius in opposition. And so, yeah, sometimes I can live in the fantasy of the dream itself, or I can actually just go about, or like I've had to learn to go about it and create it, and to embrace being the one to light my own path. So, and I'm going to pull back up the chart really quick. We just kind of put that down here. So, that's the vibe that I'm getting off of this Leo full moon. And this Leo full moon can also consciously illuminate your own individuality and your uniqueness, and how you can bring that to the collective and be of service. Or it can, and then also at the same time, it can show you like something about your character that you can innovate and change. And by embracing being eclectic in other forms and different modalities, you can innovate and change those structures that are flawed, or that just in general need to be improved. And it's interesting too, because if you take a look here, and we're just kind of just going with the flow here, but if you take a look here, Mars at 15 is getting very close to Uranus here at 19. And I believe that Uranus will actually go direct, because it goes direct on January 27th. I believe Uranus will be turned direct before Mars makes its exact trine to Uranus and Taurus. And Mars trine Uranus or Uranus is like that spontaneous impulse to be like, fuck it. It's natural and divine timing for you, and a feeling of things feeling right to bring innovative change that's going to help you achieve your objectives and make your life more prosperous. And also Mercury as well will be catching up at the same time, and also be making its trine to Uranus and Taurus. And I love when Mercury is trining Uranus and Taurus, because it's almost as if it's the person that's been in the laboratory, the scientist who finally puts together an invention that radically changes things in their life. And if you want to talk about on a collective scale, the collective too. And also Venus here at 2 degrees of Capricorn is also getting close at the same time to sextiling Saturn and Pisces, and that's going to bring a perfect moment and opportunity for you to actually ground your physical actually ground your ideals and the things that you're valuing into some form of structure to allow them to be created. So I feel with this full moon, this is definitely, it's going to bring up all the things that I was just saying, but there's also some good things going on too at the same time that are coming up, and this is preparing you for you to start to make the shifts and the changes that are required at the time to be able to go about achieving your desires. Because Mars and Mercury is like reason and action, and then Venus would be like Venus is like the value that's behind the reason, right? If you have a reason for something, well, there has to be a value, which is Venus, and then Mars would be, I have a reason, so I'm going to take action, the reasoning behind the action. And the reasoning behind the actions and the values is all Capricorn stuff, right? Wanting to build new structures in our life, wanting to achieve our ambitions, wanting to become more critical and becoming more critical and tenacious, right? And getting ourselves into a better position in our life, because Capricorn is about position. So yeah, that's what I got for everybody. And I feel like I'm gonna pull us a card. I'm gonna pull us a tarot card really quick to end this video. And we'll see what the message is for this full moon in Leo. All right, let's take a look, my friends. What is the message here? Yeah, the Seven of Cups. Seven of Cups is about the power of the imagination. And the power of the imagination will allow us to find new options, find new areas of creativity. And also I want to say too that the Seven of Cups is Venus and Scorpio. So it does deal with you really wanting to fully merge with what you value and what you desire. But it's one thing to dream and have the ideals, and it's another thing to go about using your life force energy to create those things. And that points back to the sun being in gate 41, which is about the patient dreamer and getting out of just the ideals and the fantasies of your dreams and actually starting to take action toward them. But the Seven of Cups is also a card of options and choices, and you have a lot more options and choices. And if you think about the seven, well, seven I feel kind of does bring this form of eclectic energy. And so the Seven of Cups, eclecticism deals with many things, many options, many different variables that you can use to create the desires and manifestations in your life. So don't be afraid to change, and don't be afraid to embrace humility if you're feeling like there's certain limitations in your way, because by facing those limitations with humility, you're able to build stronger character, which will help you take control of your destiny and allow you to get back on the right fate train that's going to take you, the tracks taking you to your destiny. So that's what I got for y'all. I appreciate everybody for watching. If you like this video, be sure to hit that thumbs up button for me. It really does help the channel a lot, and I really do appreciate the support. Also, if you haven't subscribed yet, be sure to subscribe, hit the notification bell as well. You'll get notified whenever I upload the videos. And otherwise than that, my friends, I'm wishing you all the best, and I'll see you all later.